somewhere beneath the ocean, lies a secret that has haunted humanity for over 2,000 years. A civilization so advanced, so powerful, that when it vanished completely. No ruins confirmed, no survivors, no trace, just a story. Told once, by one man, over 2,000 years ago. And yet the world never forgot it. This is the mystery of Atlantis. The year is approximately 360 BC. In ancient Athens, a philosopher named Plato sits down to write two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. In these texts, Plato describes a conversation between the Athenian statesman Solon and an Egyptian priest. The priest tells Solon something extraordinary. 9,000 years before their time, there existed a mighty island empire, larger than Libya and Asia combined, located just beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we today call the Strait of Gibraltar. This civilization was called Atlantis. According to Plato, Atlantis was a naval superpower. Its people were descendants of Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea, who had fallen in love with a mortal woman named Clito and built her a home on a hilltop surrounded by rings of water and land. Over generations, Atlantis grew into something breathtaking. Plato described grand temples coated in gold, silver, and a mysterious metal called orichalcum, said to shimmer like fire. The city was built in perfect concentric circles, connected by canals. It had hot and cold fountains, palaces, racetracks, an enormous harbor filled with ships. By any measure, it was paradise, but then something went wrong. The Atlanteans, Plato wrote, became corrupted. Their divine nature faded. Greed and power consumed them. They became arrogant, warlike, and so the gods punished them. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. Gone. Forever. Now here's where things get fascinating and deeply controversial. Was Atlantis real? Or was it simply a philosophical fable, a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and pride? Scholars have debated this for centuries, and they are still debating it today. The skeptics argue this. Plato was a philosopher, not a historian. He used fictional settings and characters to explore moral ideas all the time. Atlantis, they say, was allegory, a made-up civilization designed to reflect the hubris of Athens itself. They'd point out that no ancient writer before Plato ever mentioned Atlantis. Not Homer, not Herodotus, not a single historian. If such a massive civilization truly existed, surely someone else would have noticed. But the believers? They have a different argument entirely. They say, why would Plato invent such specific details? He gave measurements. He described architecture. He named a metal. He gave a precise timeline, 9,000 years before Solon's time. These are not the details of a parable. These are the details of a memory. And memories, they argue, can survive, distorted, mythologized, but at their core, rooted in something real. Over the centuries, researchers, explorers, and obsessives have proposed dozens of locations for Atlantis. Let's look at the most compelling ones. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption devastated the island of Thera, what is now Santorini. The explosion was one of the largest in human history. It likely triggered tsunamis and catastrophic collapse. At the time, the Minoan civilization, an extraordinarily advanced Bronze Age culture, dominated the region. They had running water, multi-story buildings, art, trade networks spanning the known world. And then, around the same time as the eruption, the Minoans collapsed. Many researchers believe Plato's Atlantis is a distorted memory of the Minoans and the Thera catastrophe, passed down through oral tradition for 1,000 years before reaching Greek ears. The time frame is off. Plato says 9,000 years, not 900, but could that be a translation error? A misreading of Egyptian numerals? It's more than possible. If you take Plato literally, beyond the Pillars of Hercules means the Atlantic Ocean, and in the middle of the Atlantic sit the Azores, a chain of volcanic islands sitting on a massive underwater plateau. Some geologists have pointed out that the seafloor around the Azores shows signs of having once been above sea level. Ancient land that sank. Could this be the remnant of a much larger landmass? Could Atlantis lie in deep water somewhere between Portugal and North America? The ocean there is thousands of meters deep. We've barely explored it. This one sounds wild, but hear it out. A theory called Earth crust displacement, proposed in the 1950s by Charles Hapgood and later popularized by writer Graham Hancock, suggests that the Earth's crust can shift dramatically over short periods of time. Under this theory, Antarctica was once positioned further north. It had a temperate climate. It could have supported a civilization. Then, around 12,000 years ago, a crustal shift pushed it to the polar region, freezing everything instantly. The date lines up almost perfectly with Plato's 9600 BC timeline. Even more intriguing, a map created in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis shows Antarctica's coastline without ice. Centuries before Antarctica was officially discovered. How did he draw that? In 2011, a team of researchers using satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar found something extraordinary beneath the marshlands of southern Spain. Buried under mud, concentric rings, matching almost exactly Plato's description of Atlantis. The area, known as Donana, sits near the Atlantic coast. It was once at sea level. It could have been flooded by a massive tsunami thousands of years ago. The team's lead researcher told National Geographic, and I quote, "They believed this was a leading candidate for the real Atlantis. Excavations have been limited. The site is a protected national park. Whatever is buried there remains buried." But here is where the Atlantis mystery opens into something even bigger. Because here is a fact that mainstream history has never fully explained. Around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, right around the time Atlantis supposedly sank, something happened to the world. The last ice age ended. Sea levels rose by over 100 meters globally. Entire coastlines were swallowed. Millions of square kilometers of land, gone underwater. Any civilization living on coastal land at that time would have been erased. Their cities now sit on the ocean floor. And here's the strange part. Shortly after this catastrophe, human civilization seems to explode out of nowhere. Göbekli Tepe, a temple complex in Turkey, built 11,500 years ago, is so sophisticated it shouldn't exist by our current understanding of human development at the time. Agriculture, writing, architecture, mathematics, all appear seemingly simultaneously across cultures that had no contact with each other. Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, the Olmecs of Central America. All of them share flood myths. All of them describe a great civilization destroyed by water. All of them speak of survivors, wise men, who arrived and taught them the ways of civilization. What if Atlantis wasn't just one city? What if it was a name for an entire lost chapter of human history? A pre-Ice Age civilization we have yet to find, because most of it lies under the sea? Here is what we know for certain. Plato described Atlantis in extraordinary detail. A detail that goes far beyond allegory. We know that 12,000 years ago, catastrophic flooding reshaped the planet. We know that ancient civilizations across the world share eerily similar myths of a great flood and a lost golden age. We know that we have explored less than 20% of Earth's ocean floors, and we know that buried beneath the marshes of Spain lie concentric rings that look exactly like what Plato described. Atlantis may be a myth. It may be a metaphor. It may be a distorted memory of something that was very, very real. Or it may still be out there, waiting, beneath the waves, beneath the sand, beneath the weight of 10,000 years of silence. The ocean keeps its secrets well, but it doesn't keep them forever.